like this is a movement more than just a clothing brand. It's more of
Yes.
a transformation of how we define ourselves through clothes and through garments and accessories. And that for me
Yes.
was when I really respected the world of upcycle and sustainability. Okay, dolls. Yeah, I just already sewed this part here. I did the lower part of the skirt, so just like I did in the other skirt, I'm going to add a little bit of this beautiful fabric just to bring in some greenery. Then we're going to add some elastic. We're going to see how it all comes together. Yep.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today for this wonderful conversation. I have a very inspiring young lady with me today who is totally passionate about textile upcycling. So I'm going to introduce you to Bianca. Bianca, if you would like to tell everybody watching more about your story and why you feel that upcycled textiles are such a magical thing.
For sure. Hi, Melanie, and hi, everybody on the group. My name is Bianca. I go by the name of Honeybee. So, Honeybee is birthed from pain into purpose, but it's all about, for me, turning textile waste into fashionable taste. And I love, to be honest with you, I love clothes. I love clothes. I love creativity, and I love creating nothing into something. And for me, I'm just very happy to be part of a community that talks about sustainability because it's been such a lonely journey as I was, gathering all these discarded fabrics and going through the motion of trying to understand clothing, design, garments, sewing, and also learning that, learning how to sew with what I had in community. So I'm self-taught, and I also was taught through a community in Joburg how to sew. And while we were sewing, we were also teaching young kids how to sew, and that meant
Oh, wow.
we would have donated fabrics, like sari fabrics or African print, and we'd have to use these fabrics into
So,
small bags and
so
yeah.
while you were learning, you were teaching also.
Yes, I
Oh,
was learning to
wonderful.
also teach as well. And for me, I just went in there as a student. I wasn't thinking of, oh, look at me, I'm the teacher. I was just there
Yes.
and just learning how to sew the basics. And over time, there was an attraction of how I was creating these wasted garments because for instance, I would turn a bag and I would make it a two-in-one. So on the one side, I'd have the African fabric, and then on the other side, I'll have a sari fabric, and I
Okay.
would convert these bags, based on the colors. And I think I have the bag here. I'll show you, but
I'd love
it
to
was very
see.
exciting for me because it was like for one person it was just a wasted fabric, from the
Yes.
sari side, but for me that was like, no, we're going to use that and we'll
Yes.
make it part of the African section of it. I started playing with colors and textures and just heritage, and then that for
Yes.
me turned into starting to make my own garments and my own wraparound skirts out of tablecloths. And so that was like, it took its own journey. And through that, the kids were like, how did you do that? And so
Okay.
I'd teach them little tricks or, like, just take this fabric and try this and then, turn it around and use
Yes.
these bold colors. And before you knew it, I was like, this is a movement more than just, pardon, a clothing brand. It's more of
Yes.
a transformation of how we define ourselves through clothes and through garments and accessories. And that for me
Yes.
was when I really respected the world of upcycle and sustainability.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing your beautiful story. So I hear that you are completely enlivened by the transformation process. how do you like to transform your garments? How do you take a garment and then go, okay, it needs to be that? Do you have a feeling of what it needs to be, or do you look for inspiration in books, or do you just know in your bones? Like, so for somebody starting out who wants to start
Mm,
out
mm,
upcycling their own clothes the way you've described,
mm.
where do you find, the stuff you need to get started?
That's a very interesting, and it's a very good question because I think before I owned a sewing machine, for instance, I had like a squared fabric where I would try and like visualize, will it look nice as a skirt, or would it look nice as a pants, or would it look nice as a wraparound skirt? And for months, I remember while I was trying to save for my little sewing machine here,
Yes,
I would wear this fabric. I would literally wear it to work or outdoors as as just a wraparound.
yes,
It had no what's it, belt. It had nothing. It was
yes,
I remember just shoop like a mama, just
yes,
wrapping it
yes.
around and playing around like the thickness of how to tie it, as well as I always visualized how can I, add in my little B sign and, you know, add like a pin. How can I pin it basically so that
Okay.
it doesn't show that it's a DIY skirt,
Yes, yes.
And
That's
then
clever.
yeah, from there onwards, then I started just, researching ways to wear like just a wraparound DIY skirt. And
Yes.
then I was like, okay, let's take it to the next level now. Where are we ready enough to now cut this rectangular fabric and really turn it into a structured garment that represents our figure, and now instead of it just being wrapped around, but it really now is turning into something I can wear professionally. And so I took that cloth, which was actually a tablecloth, and I started cutting it according to sections of where I wanted it to just cover my figure, or where I wanted to open the slit, of
Yes,
the leg. And then I just played on that, obviously with a little bit of sewing skills.
yes,
I decided to say, no, okay, we are ready to now cut this raw material, and let's now make it a skirt, because it's
yes,
no longer just a cloth that we wrap
yes,
around our body. It's
yes.
now, let's see how, and then from one of that fabric it turned into another, and it just became this roller coaster of like, I'm taking all of you tablecloths and curtains and I'm wrapping you around my body. And that's exactly what I did. I took a satin curtain fabric and I turned it into wide-legged pants. And then I took that tablecloth and I turned it into a wraparound skirt. And I'm like, yes, now we are in movement.
Do you have any home textiles left around you, or have you depleted all of the curtains and
Oh, I
the
do. It's actually there. It's looking at me. Um, I will show you. So I basically just hold on. So yeah, I've got so many things just randomly. So this is the skirt I was talking about. This was
Oh,
a
that's
tablecloth.
lovely. That's lovely. That
And
big white stripe must look gorgeous on.
yeah, and it's not really my style. I don't like striped black and white specific,
Okay.
but I think I'll just tilt this a bit,
That's
just
totally
like
me,
that.
I love black and white together.
Yeah, so this was like literally a fabric, and so now it's obviously sewn, stitched in, and now this is how it looks from that perspective of that
Yes.
wraparound.
That's pretty.
And then this is
So was that
the
the first
second.
skirt you ever made?
Yeah, it was, but it took it was, listen, it came with a lot of trial and error, and
Okay.
I also asked somebody who was much more skilled than I was in sewing to please just teach me how to, measure my waist properly for the because I only had a section of the. Sorry, my head's not showing. I only had I only had a section of the piece. So I only work with small pieces. So I didn't
Yes,
want to, and I remember when we bought this, it was a discarded piece. And so I was like, I need to make the best out of it.
yes.
So please, if we're gonna cut, can we cut so that this piece matches this side of this, like every section is being used. I didn't wanna, yeah. And so now I'm
It's
working on,
so the reason I'm saying that is because working with striping is never
yes,
easy.
that's the thing.
So you went and dived in. You went and found
Sure.
probably the hardest thing to do and tried that.
I took 2 months. Like I felt like a scientist because I was like, okay, first let's get the pattern right. Let's
Yes.
get the pattern making. Let's get the measurement right. And then
Okay.
from there, let's get the like, so I'll just put it up here. So this
Yes.
section here, like, how are we
The
gonna stitch
dart.
this so that, yeah, the dots so that it holds the figure when I wrap it around.
Yes,
And
yes,
then obviously also I was like, okay, if this is striped, do we have it this way or do we
yes,
have it this
yes,
way,
yes, yes,
And oh, so I was like, okay, the skirt is longer when it's vertical, and I just said, okay, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just play with the fact that it's that I used to wear this as a normal cloth. Let's play with it and let's just see what happens. And I would say I'm very, very proud of this one to be specific because it really from there I started manipulating the rest and
yes,
you know,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. There's always that piece that is kind of a breakthrough. So I was terrified of sewing my own clothes for very many years, and even when I had the cloth collective. And then I think it was this year, I put on so much weight that I had
Mm-hmm.
nothing in my closet to wear, and I didn't have money to go and
Mm-hmm.
buy new clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So I started attacking all my stored fabrics and making clothing for myself. And I cut from scratch for the first time and started making things. They're not very tailored, but the
Mm-hmm.
satisfaction of wearing something that you've worn that you
Exactly.
cut
That
from
you made.
scratch
Yeah.
is amazing. I
I
don't know why I waited so
100%.
long.
Yeah. I agree because I also was like, wow, I really wish I did this when I was young. And I
Yes,
think, like, I don't think my family would have approved because I think there's a narrative between, or let's say there's a narrative behind clothing or sewing your clothes. It's not as um highly desirable as it used to be or high like
yes,
of a really good skill. That's what I've been seeing. Also, the more I highlight to people that I sew and I do this, but what I know now with this new innovative way called, which at the time I didn't know, but it was when I add upcycling to it. For
yes,
me, you can't tell me that this is not a skill that is important. This is the most important skill, especially with women who are constantly bombarded to buy more, more, more. And when
yes.
your body's changing, like I know, like for instance, if a jean had to be very tight towards me now, I cannot wait to cut it up and stitch it open and create like a vava-voom out of it. I cannot wait to gain weight. I cannot wait to lose weight. I'm looking forward to
That's
to
so
to
funny.
all those
You can't
moments.
wait to gain or lose weight so that you've got some upcycling that you can do. That's
You,
wonderful.
you
I
know,
love
I'm
that.
like, I looked at my pants, the one that I made from the curtain fabric, and I love it because even when days when I'm bloated, because I'll show you here. Um, so this is just one of that. And then this section here is the waist part,
Yes.
right?
Was that
And
hard
so
to
with
make? That looks hard to make.
it is in some way, but it's like stitched individually.
Okay.
So, and
Wow.
there's errors. Look, I didn't get it perfect.
You
There's
wouldn't even
like,
say. If you hadn't shown me, I wouldn't have seen from the outside.
so, and when I'm bloated, this is the perfect thing I would love to wear because the waist part of this pants,
Yes.
wow, it's like it just holds me,
Oh
and
no, I want a
and
pair
I
too.
Yeah, I'd love to make you one
They look
because
so
I
comfortable.
just don't ever want to feel like I must lose weight anymore. I'm serious.
Yes, yes, yes. So I actually think you're touching on a very, very important topic there, and that's um like how much we beat ourselves up when our clothes feel tight.
Mm,
Um, and so it's interesting to hear from your younger woman's perspective. Me as an older woman going through menopause, one of the gifts for me in menopause has been that I'm able to let go of
mm.
having to look like that young, shapely
So,
form
mm.
and just go, like gravity's catching me now. There's nothing I can do except
Mm,
just wear it gracefully, because you can't undo time.
mm,
But I've often thought about it lately, like, why has it taken me so long to give myself this kind of permission to be okay in my own body? Like it's taken all the way to menopause to say, okay, I don't want to wear tight clothes. Um,
mm,
I don't want to have to conform to a certain body
mm,
shape or a
mm,
certain external expectation of how I'm supposed to look.
mm.
Um, so
Yeah.
I've really loved that you've touched on that aspect of things.
It's taken a while because for me it was I've seen myself lose weight. I've seen myself having peer pressure of, what is the best body goals, especially my age. Like, there's Instagram, and today it's little booties matter, tomorrow it's big booties matter, and it's this
Yes,
constant, you
yes,
just don't know how to dress and how to express yourself. And I think now because like I mentioned to you, because I know the truth of how the upcycling growth and the how I created honeybee clothing and how I started sewing, the truth and the pain of that made me accept that transformation is what's beautiful because
yes,
I've seen myself create and stitch one garment at a time when I was very depressed. I've seen myself lose weight when I didn't have much. And then I've also seen myself wear the clothes now when I'm having a lot, when I'm bloated, when I'm full, when I'm happy, when I see this growth of change where I'm like, I want my clothes to value who I am, not make I don't want my I mean sorry, I want my body my I want my clothes to value my body. I don't want my body to value the clothes. And
yes,
I don't want to shape my body for the clothes.
yes,
So that for me is like when I see another woman wear a wraparound skirt, for instance, I know that there's so much length for them to, if they're tiny, they can wrap it up. If
yes,
they big, they can create a nice, a bow, and it creates their figure. There's so many ways where we can start manipulating clothes to enhance our size and our body instead of we trying to shape our bodies into these clothes that are not
yes,
really even designed for us to begin with. They don't make us feel confident, comfortable. And that's why I love sustainability because there was a part of me where I was like, if I have oily skin on certain sections of my body, these are the fabrics that will work best. And then if I have dry skin, these are the fabrics that work best. And so
mm,
I started really studying, um, skin tone to skin type to to fabric to how to play with the fabric and to how to manipulate it so that even on my hardest, saddest days, I want to still feel beautiful with the clothes I have.
mm,
Even
mm,
when I have no money, I still want to wear what I have.
mm,
And I no longer want to feel like I need to have a branded clothing line or clothing garments to make me feel like, wow, I'm worthy to be loved. And
mm,
look at me, I've got this logo that I'm wearing, and
mm.
oh, I'm just so amazing. Hashtag.
It's wonderful that you are so sure that you want to be yourself. because for a lot of people, it takes a lifetime to get to that place. So I'm quite energized to speak to somebody who's very young and very sure of herself today, Bianca. Thank you. So that was an incredible window into your world. And we are going to be following your progress uh, with interest. So I'm going to, for all of you who are watching, I'm going to put Bianca's links into the comments of this video. So don't worry, you will be able to connect with her through the links in the description and in the comments of the video. Bianca, do you have any parting words for anybody watching?
Not at all. I just want to say thank you so much, Melanie, for creating these communities because they change lives. I listen to me. It sounds like an advert here. If Melanie can change my life, she can change your life as well. But more so, I would say honestly, it's movements like this, you know. Um, Fashion for me now, when I look at it, it's no longer just fashion, it's a movement. The way you wear clothes, the way you make clothes, the way you sew, the way you in embody and stitch self-love with this old fabric, you know, the way I had to also reinvent what it meant to collect discarded fabric. And so now like I said to you, I turned textile waste into fashionable taste.
Love
So
that.
it's
I
like
love your
it's
tagline.
like rewriting, you know,
Yes.
another man's trash. And long story short, I want to say thank you for doing this because it really adds to the movement of why I also do this and why I keep doing this. And um, long story, every woman of every size and every age, it's beautiful. Use your fabric, use your clothing, and express yourself. Don't ever allow age or your body size to limit you or tell you that no, you need to be 30 or 20 to look a certain age. You have to find this beauty in you to say, you know what, this is my body now. Let us dress this body.
Mm.
Get that curtain and turn that curtain to wrap yourself around.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for your enthusiasm today. You are not in a vacuum. There are others out there. I know that, particularly in South Africa, we sometimes go out there and talk to people about textile upcycling, and they go, "What?"
Yeah.
Um, so it is awesome to connect virtually and be able to
Mhm.
feel like we actually are a small, close-knit community because we
Mhm.
really all have the same values and
Mhm.
care about the same things. So it's wonderful to know that we're not alone and that there are others out there. Thank you so
Mhm.
much for sharing your story with us today, Bianca. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
But it
Melanie.
was a beautiful challenge, and this was me in late nights doing it alone, but the beauty is amazing, and I am so glad to show you what I'm going to do next. Stay tuned.